Hi, today I'm going to explain an action movie called Water Wars. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie is set in a world where the majority of the water resources have dried up following a sustained period of environmental abuse. A voiceover talks about how humans once had so much water, which should have been enough for everyone, but greed and indifference towards environmental issues drove the planet to a point where almost all seas and rivers ceased to exist. A catastrophe engulfed Earth, transforming the once dream planet into a vast barren landmass. Despite all this, humans still continue to fight among each other. Several warlords collide time and again, vying for total control of whatever water remains on Earth. The voiceover concludes that a man has only two choices in this world: either be a slave or a killer. The scene then shifts right into the thick of the action as a young woman named Sky is being pursued by several masked men. She is a member of a secretive tribe from a place called Godde, who guard the only remaining river in this part of the world. The men are clad in all black, armed with assault rifles, and also have other advanced weapons. Scott, on the other hand, fights back using only a catapult. However, she is extremely effective with her rudimentary weapon and shoots down several enemy snipers. She soon begins to create a good distance between herself and the pursuers. In this critical moment, the masked men throw several miniature heat-seeking missiles after Sky. She dodges a few of them, but is ultimately pushed into a corner. Several masked men surround the area, and she realizes that there is no way out. Just as the men capture Sky, her younger sister Kenna watches on from a faraway hill. Kenna knows that there is nothing she can do at the moment to save her sister. Following this, the masked men take Sky to the city of New Herit, where she is held as a prisoner. The city falls under the dominion of a ruthless man named Bane, who is the most powerful warlord in the area. When the catastrophe hit this part of the world, he took sole control of every remaining water resource around. Ever since, he has governed his kingdom with an iron grip. However, now even Bane is slowly beginning to run out of water. He approaches Sky, who is hung like a trophy animal. She's packing, and makes his intentions clear. He says that his crops are withering and his people are dying of thirst. Bane threatens to pull her eyes out of her skull if she doesn't immediately reveal the location of Gaia's secret freshwater spring. But Sky stands firm and refuses to tell him anything. This forces the warlord to show her an example of his cruelty. His men bring in a male member of the Gaia tribe that they had captured a few weeks ago. Bane then takes an electric saw and slashes the man's face mercilessly. After this, she gives Sky an ultimatum and goes away for the time being. Elsewhere, near a mining area, 3 men and 3 young boys have been captured by a local sheriff. They are accused of ambushing a police convoy and stealing 3 gallons of water. The regular punishment would be taking the criminals into a radioactive place called the Fallout Zone and hanging them there. But the sheriff wanted something more exciting, so he has chained all 6 of them and plans to play a game of death or survival. The sheriff stands far away from where the prisoners are currently chained. There is a pole placed on the top of the nearby hillock. Once the prisoners are let free, the sheriff will begin shooting towards them at random. Whoever reaches the pole first will walk away with their lives, as well as the 3 gallons of water. Nearby the mining field is a temporary bar where an infamous mercenary known as Slade is casually chilling out. The sister of one of the 3 captured boys soon runs into the bar. She finds Slade and starts begging him to save her brother. She even claims that the young boy actually committed no crime. Initially, Slade is unmoved, but after the girl pleads for a good few minutes, he agrees to save her brother. Following this, Slade goes out of the bar and approaches the mining field. He sees the sheriff gleefully shoot at 3 of the prisoners as if they were animals. But just as the sheriff is about to begin his twisted game with the young boys, Slade shoots his gun down. This causes the atmosphere to become tense, and the mercenary proceeds to confront the police force, but the latter choose to walk away as they're unsure how this conflict would end. In the aftermath, Slade frees the 3 boys and travels towards a bar in New Herit using his car. The city is basically a huge junkyard with ruined houses, tents set up as bars, and several fighting pits. Unemployed young men from different parts of the world come to these pits and duel to the death. But Slade Slade is here simply because he wants to have a drink in peace. He is sitting all by himself when Kenna enters the bar searching for him. Unfortunately, she is so good looking that she ends up attracting a lot of unwanted attention. 3 men jump up from their seats and begin harassing her non-stop. Kenna tells them that she isn't looking for any trouble, but the men don't take her warning seriously. They start touching her inappropriately, which forces her to whip out her fighting skills. Kenna makes easy work of these men using her effective close-quarter combat moves. Seeing his buddies getting whooped by a girl, a 4th goon stands up. He has a gun in his hand and is about to shoot Kenna, but Slade knocks him down from behind. Following this brawl, the elusive mercenary packs his stuff to go to some other place where he can drink in peace. However, Kenna follows him outside the bar and begs him to listen for a while. She immediately shows him a tattoo inked on the left side of her chest. This is enough to grab Slade's attention, you don't say, as he realizes that she is a member of the tribe, Gaia. Kenna then explains that the chief of her tribe is extremely sick. She and her sister had come to New Harrods in search of a medicine to cure his illness. Unfortunately, her sister Sky was abducted by the dictator Bane, who plans to torture her into revealing the location of the secret spring. She now wants to hire Slade to free her sister and take them home safely. The mercenary is aware of Bane's ruthless nature and refuses to undertake this dangerous mission, but Kenna promises to give him as much water as he can carry as payment. Since water is the most precious commodity in this world, Slade immediately changes his mind. He and Kenna then head out to assemble a team for the mission. Following this, the scene shifts to a shady bar in the heart of New Harrod. The place is packed with Bane's men who enjoy alcohol, naked women, and several jousting matches. In other words, they're men. 2 men have climbed up separate ropes attached to the roof of the bar. They hang on to the ropes with one hand while carrying knives on the other. While the onlookers place bets on their fighter, the 2 men swing towards the middle point. They slash and hurt each other while the audience cheers on this brutality. Moments later, they collide midway and fall to the ground. Eventually, one of the men wins the fight by plunging a knife in his opponent's chest. But the blood sports don't end here, as moments later, the audience turns its attention towards a jousting matchup. 2 men are seated on motorcycles several meters apart but facing each other. They are separated down the middle by a fiery ramp and are clutching sharp lances under their armpits. As soon as the bets are placed, the men speed their bikes towards each other. The game is over in a matter of seconds when one contestant brutally knocks out the other. On the second floor of the bar, Bane is enjoying his nighttime bath. 2 young women are busy scrubbing his back while his dog drinks water from a nearby bucket. It is obvious that he actually doesn't care if the general public of New Harrod dies out of thirst. As long as he can keep his lavish lifestyle, Bane will go to any lengths to crush his enemies. After a while, his bodyguard Jasper enters the bath to brief him of the current water situation. Jasper reveals that their kingdom is quickly running out of water, which will lead to riots among the general public. But instead of rationing their current water equally among everyone, Bane suggests a more cruel approach. He orders his men to torture Sky so much that she is forced to reveal the location of the secret spring. Elsewhere, a thief named Finn sneaks up to the sleeping members of the local biker gang. He quietly steals 2 bottles of water from them and begins to leave. However, he gets greedy and comes back to steal more bottles. Finn is about to pick up his 3rd one when he inadvertently sets off a tripwire, alerting the gang members. A fight then breaks out and Finn initially manages to evade the attacks. However, the gang has numerical superiority and eventually restrains him. They then loot all of his belongings and bury him up to the shoulders before leaving. Fortunately, Slade and Kenna arrive shortly afterwards and free him. Our hero knows that Finn is an extremely capable thief and tells him about the mission. The latter is initially reluctant to join as the risks are too high, but when Kenna says that she will give him at least 10 gallons of water, the thief happily joins their group. Back in New Harrod, Jasper begins torturing Sky. He tears her blouse and whips her mercilessly, but she doesn't utter a word. On the other hand, our group reaches a factory on the outskirts of a nearby village. There, they meet a local businessman who seems to recognize Slade. The mercenary asks the businessman about his younger brother Jared, who used to work in the factory. In response, the old man hands him a custom revolver and tells him Jared's location. A few hours later, Slade and Tenna manage to track him down in a nearby bar. The 2 warmly greet each other and and Slade hands the custom revolver to his brother. Without any further question, Jared agrees to be a part of the mission to save Sky. Following this, the trio of Slade, Jared, and Tenna makes their way to the outskirts of New Harif. In the middle of a desolate wasteland is a garage where a mechanic couple, Aaron and John, live and work. Slade reveals that John used to work with him several years ago and that the two are great friends. He then walks up to the workshop and recruits both Aaron and John for his mission without any problems. Now, Slade's formidable team is complete with members that have expertise in several fields. They spend a night at John's workshop and come up with a plan to raid Bane's headquarters in New Harif. The following day, the team daringly ambushes a water tanker headed towards Bane's headquarters. They kill all of the guards and take control of the vehicle. Slade then yanks out a fire extinguisher from the truck's interior and puts it on the accelerator before jumping out. Minutes later, the vehicle crashes onto the wall of the fortified headquarters. Bane hears the massive crash noise and comes outside with his men. He sees his tanker, which is now completely destroyed, leaking water all over the headquarters yard. The crowd of common folk are now rushing in to drink and collect the spilled water. Enraged at the sight, Bane orders his men to gather all their forces and meet the approaching enemy with full force. Unbeknownst to the warlord, Slade and his group have already taken advantage of the commotion. Everyone except Jared quietly sneaks into the headquarters from the back entrance. Shortly after, Slade manages to reach the inner core of the headquarters, where Sky is imprisoned. She is bare-chested, covered in whip marks, but alive. The group then picks her up and quietly sneaks her out of the place. Unfortunately, their luck runs out when they are cornered by Bane and his men on the outer compound. They are about to be shot dead when Jared arrives in the compound in a reinforced truck. He throws a couple of grenades to create a distraction and picks off the group safely. Bane's men shoot at the truck, but our group manages to escape the place unscathed. After speeding for a good few miles, Jared stops the truck to check for any damages. Unfortunately, it turns out that Sky was shot during their escape from New Harif. This forces Kenna to lead the group to the hidden kingdom of Gaia, as her sister can only receive treatment there, but it's sadly too late, and Sky ends up dying before she can receive help. With this, the mission turns out to be extremely unsuccessful, as Kenna neither got the medicine for her tribal chief, nor could she save her sister's life. Nonetheless, the tribe asks the group to stay here until Sky's funeral. They also promise to pay them their fair share of water, as they have earned it. But that night, while everyone is asleep, a greedy Finn escapes Gaia with 2 gallons of water. He also murders 2 tribesmen after they see him running away. Things go from bad to worse when Bane's men catch him not far from Gaia's borders. They threaten him, and Finn is more than happy to show them where their secret freshwater spring is. The very next morning, Bane attacks with all his might. They surround Gaia from all sides and easily defeat the first line of defense from the tribe's people. However, Slade rallies the remaining troops and musters up an offense through guerrilla warfare. The tribesmen, adept to Gaia's topography, sneak attack on Bane's men and eventually turn the tides. In a cave near the freshwater spring, Bane and Slade have a one-on-one gun duel. Slade, having decades of experience as a mercenary, is faster to draw his pistol. He thus kills the warlord before the latter can even draw his weapon. In the aftermath of this battle, Slade comes out of the cave and sees that his brother John is dead. The movie ends as he carries John's dead body outside, when suddenly it begins to rain on Gaia. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.